Welcome to 5 at 5 after Arsenal went and dispatched Nottingham Forest by scoring 5 goals. Let's get into my 5. Number 1, and that is KT versus TT. Yes, we're talking about the left back spot and Arteta's preference to go with Tomiyasu over Kieran Tierney, even though Tomiyasu is a natural right back and Kieran Tierney is a natural left back. Now, look, he's done that a few times this season. Sometimes it's worked, other times it hasn't. Overall, I would say it's not really seemed to work as well as just having a natural left back. So even though it was a very, very good day at the office for Arsenal, a lot of the pre-game talk centred around that selection. As soon as that team got announced, 1 hour before kickoff, a lot of people were pinpointing that position and saying, why is Kieran Tierney not starting? Now, you can either take the view that after full time, Arsenal have won 5-0, so no matter what the manager did, he must have got it right because we've had a brilliant day at the office. Or, and this is where I sit really, a more seasoned football fan would say, would the result really have been any different if we had played Kieran Tierney? I personally think when you're playing Nottingham Forest, bottom of the table, have only scored 1 goal away from home in the Premier League so far this season. They don't pose that much of a defensive threat. So I think Arsenal could have easily played Kieran Tierney and had just as good of a game, if not better, by having that adventurous left back in his natural position in that game. Tell me in the comments why you think it is that Arteta is playing Tomiyasu over Tierney. Some people before the game seem to suggest that they think there's something going on between player and manager. Now, I don't subscribe to that. I don't believe that. I think Kieran Tierney, to me, comes across as a very professional, very humble sort of footballer. And I can't imagine him having a massive issue with the manager where a manager's refusing to play him. I personally think it's just a tactical thing. And even though I'd rather Tierney was playing, obviously it worked very well. And now my question is, well, what do we do in the very, very important away game at Chelsea? Even though I wanted Tierney to start before Forest, when a team plays that well, the tendency that I go to is to not change anything. And also, at home to Forest is a very different proposition to away at Chelsea. So maybe the more defensively minded and aerially dominant player, Tomiyasu, might be a better option for the Chelsea game than playing Kieran Tierney. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below in terms of who you would start against Chelsea. Number 2, I can't do a 5 at 5 after that game without talking about Reiss Nelson. He was fantastic yesterday. Yes, it's a massive shame that Saka had to get injured for him to get the opportunity, but when he came on, he grasped it with both hands. I mean, the first goal, unbelievable composure to sell 2 Nottingham Forest players a dummy, and it's a shame he didn't put it in first time because that actually deprived Gabriel Jesus of an assist, but the finish after the goalkeeper parried it was absolutely brilliant. And then the near post finish, great movement, great finish, and then even got an assist as well for Thomas Partey's goal. All in all, a brilliant performance. And we saw in that second half, once he had the confidence of those 2 goals, he was unplayable at times. And I think anyone watching Arsenal for the first time, they would have looked at him and thought, wow, he must be one of their star players. So my question to you guys is, has Reiss Nelson breathed in a whole new lease of life into his Arsenal career off the back of that performance against Nottingham Forest? Yes, it's only Forest, but ultimately he did what he could have done with the opposition in front of him. He absolutely grabbed the opportunity. Or do you feel like he's been at the club long enough and actually if there's anyone we should be giving a chance to, it should be Marquinhos, not Reiss Nelson, because Marquinhos has done well when he's been called upon and Reiss Nelson has had plenty of opportunity and has never been able to get a starting spot. In the academy though, Reiss Nelson was a very, very highly promising player and actually never went on to do what people thought he'd do. In fact, that's ended up being Bukayo Saka that's gone on to new heights. But maybe Reiss Nelson with that performance is just reminding people of what he's capable of and maybe we shouldn't give up on him just yet. Number 3, Gabriel Jesus. An incredible player who I think has really breathed life into Arsenal by joining this season. But his role in the team needs a bit more direction and a bit more refinement on behalf of the management. If you can, watch the 40th minute of the game against Nottingham Forest and you'll see him coming all the way back, literally to our goal line to defend. And then when Arsenal counter, he's just run out of gas. He's absolutely shattered and can't even sprint to join in with the counter. That's how much work that he's doing. And obviously it helps the team out a lot and he's doing brilliantly for the team. But he's got to be a striker first. And I'm worried that the way we're using Jesus and what we're asking him to do, and that is obviously on the basis that I'm assuming the manager's asking him to do that, and this isn't just Jesus playing how he wants to, I feel like we're going to coach him into being another Lacazette. And now look, he'll obviously be better than that because he's got more energy and better dribbling and, he does so much more. But ultimately, when I say another Lacazette, I mean not being in the right place at the right time when needed. Gabriel Jesus sometimes needs to just be a bit hungrier to score a goal. It's been a month now since he scored his last goal, and it's all right against Nottingham Forest. You'll have other players that can come in and score goals, and we scored 5. But let's say away at Chelsea next week, when that opportunity comes, we need him to be in the right place at the right time. Are you concerned about his lack of goals, or are you looking at it thinking, do you know what? 10 goal contributions in 12 Premier League games, he's doing just fine. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Number 4, Bukayo Saka injured. I mean, look, we spoke earlier about the fact that that's what gave Reiss Nelson the opportunity to come on, and he grasped it with both hands and did brilliantly, but I can't lie, I'm gutted that he got injured. I am hoping that it's only a small one. In fact, let's take a look at what Mikel Arteta said about his injury after the game.
It was a bad kick right from the beginning. He was limping, but I don't see any further than that. Let's see how he is in the next couple of days.
What was it foot, ankle, leg?
I think both. I think he got kicked a few times and he wasn't comfortable to continue.
Thankfully, Arteta seems quite relaxed about it, and hopefully that means that Saka has not got a serious injury, but he definitely should not feature against Zurich. I think we'll all go pretty mad if he does make any appearance, because we need him back for Chelsea. Bukayo Saka didn't start the season off on top form, and it's taken him a bit of time to get there, but in recent games, he is back to his best and doing brilliantly. We need him against Chelsea, and England need him in the World Cup. So hopefully it's not a serious injury, but does that conversation need to be had about player protection? I remember going back to the Dennis Bergkamp days. He was one of the first players to talk about protecting players in the Premier League and, allowing players with that technical ability to actually do what they need to do to play that game in that beautiful way. We can't just revert back to saying, oh, good player, just kick him. That's not going to be good for English football, and it's certainly not going to be good for the entertainment value of the Premier League. Does the Premier League need to stop boasting about the physicality and the blood and guts nature of football and actually give these players some proper protection? Let me know your thoughts. Number 5, a few stats for you and a little prediction for the Chelsea versus Arsenal game. Now, what's interesting is that no team in the Premier League has scored more goals than Arsenal in the first 15 minutes of either half. A league high of 5 goals in the first 15 minutes of the first half and a league high of 8 goals in the first 15 minutes of the second half. Clearly, Mikel Arteta sends this team out with high intensity to sort of catch teams off guard. And we saw that work a treat against Nottingham Forest. Absolutely brilliant. And something that I've asked for many, many years for Arsenal to make all of the 90 minutes count. Even though we did tail off, you can't maintain that intensity throughout the whole game. Brilliant to see Arsenal starting each half really strongly out the blocks. Also, this was our 300th win at the Emirates Stadium, and nice to do that in style with Arteta's biggest win this season as Arsenal manager. And now we've got to focus to Chelsea versus Arsenal next weekend. Arsenal have got the best away record in the Premier League, and it might surprise you to know that in terms of home records, Chelsea rank 11th in the Premier League. Hopefully that bodes really, really well for Arsenal, but I think Chelsea are going to really up their game against Arsenal, and I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Let me know what you think the score is going to be. Put your predictions in the comments below, and I'll shout you out if you get it right. Thank you for watching as always. I really do appreciate it. And I know a lot of people from around the world watch my content. So I just want to say, anyone watching from South Korea, India or Somalia, horrible to see what's happened in your countries, and thoughts, love and prayers going out to all of you. Hopefully I'll see you all after Zurich, and again, hopefully it'll be a nice Arsenal victory to talk about. Take care.